What is up, everyone? My name is Michael Pohl with Bay Area Aquatics, and today we're going to be taking down our summer tub pond thingies. Alright, so as you guys know, we've had these four, I think they were 27-gallon tubs if I remember right, ponds, tub, whatever you want to call them, on the side of my house. Now, this one has orange Medaka rice fish in it. This one has Pearl Galaxy Medaka rice fish in it. This one has rainbow shiners in it, which I still haven't gotten any fry. You can kind of see them running around the back there. And then this was my only like tropical summer tub. This has my red wag platies that I pulled a couple of the 75 and then cherry shrimp. And it's starting to get just too cold for my comfort with these fires. I was planning on leaving this out another month or so. Temperatures should have been fine. But with the fires lately, in California at least, it's been bringing the temperature down because of all the smoke. It's been blocking the heat out. And so the pond's been sitting at right around 63 pretty much all day, every day. And that's just a little bit cold for my platies and shrimp. And so it's time to bring them both inside. Now I'm sure it's hard to see, but didn't quite get the production I wanted. That being said, there is a lot more platy fry in this tub than there is in the 75 inside. And so I'm actually pretty happy with it. But like I said, they are all hanging out at the bottom. Definitely starting to see the effects of the cold taking in. I used to have a lot more cherry shrimp in here, and you can kind of see one there. And there's one with a fry or small cherry shrimp over there. I think there's a lot more in this moss, but I'm not quite sure. So hopefully there's more cherry shrimp in here because I started out with like 12. But definitely got more platies, but I'm not quite sure about the shrimp. Alright, so my plan of attack here is I want to drain the water level a lot lower so it just makes it easier to net the fish and the shrimp out, the handful of shrimp that there are in here. And I have this drain in my back walkway thingy right here, so I think what the easiest thing is going to be is to start siphoning water out, but I think I'm going to put a fish net in between the siphon and the port there just in case anything gets through, even though I don't think it will because I'm going to be sitting here watching it. But yeah, so that's going to be step one. Alright, and so let me see if I can zoom in here. It's hard to see, but there is a couple of shrimp. You can kind of see them right about there. There's a couple of shrimp in here already. I'm going to pull him out in just a minute, but just kind of going ahead and getting the pond drained. Well, it looked like having the net there was kind of worth it. There was a handful of shrimp and platy fry that had ended up in the net. And so these are just in the net that were in the drainage port right there. Now it's time to start scooping the rest of these out. I've got this thing pretty much drained to just a finger length or so height, maybe an inch or two or a couple inches. And yeah, time to start netting. So I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but there's a lot of little platy fry down here in the little bits and pieces, a lot of little shrimplets. Definitely don't think I'm going to be able to save all of them. I think next year I'm going to decide not to use the gravel, just because I thought the gravel would be nicer for it, but I I'm kind of regretting the gravel right now, but I think I'm going to kind of tilt it and drain it from a corner with a net and see how many I can actually save without crushing them. Alright, so like I said, definitely not the best way, and I think I'm going to end up just removing this gravel and just getting rid of it, period, just so that the next time I don't have to worry about it. But I'm pretty sure I lost a bunch of the shrimplets, and maybe even some of the smaller platyfry just with the rocks tumbling over. But I did manage to pull like over a dozen shrimplets and platyfry just from dumping the last of the water like that. And so, let me see if I can get the camera working. You kind of see these are what the platies are, and there's some shrimp in there as well. I need to get a lot of this moss and stuff out, a lot of the algae, but you can see all the way down to tiny little platyfry. There's a bunch of shrimplets and shrimp in here as well. If the camera will focus. There we go. And I'm not seeing much of the shrimp, but there's a good couple dozen. Oh, I think there's one right there. Yep, there's a good couple dozen bright red cherry shrimp in here. So I'm pretty happy. I've learned a lot my first year. And yeah, time to start getting these into the bucket so they can go inside and start temperature acclimating in the bucket. So what I've decided to do is I've got the specimen container with all of the fish and the shrimp that were in the pond in here. I've got a little Tupperware with some water in it, and I've shrimp net, and then I've got the bucket that I'm going to put the platies in. And I'm going to try and separate the majority of the platies and shrimp. Platies are going to go in the bucket, shrimp are going to go in the Tupperware. And then once I get down to the point where I really don't want to sit here and chase. Sorry about that, I have my ham radio going in the background and someone started calling out one of the frequencies. But anyways, I'm going to put most of the platies in here, the shrimp in here. And once I get tired of digging for shrimp, these shrimp are going to go in the shrimp colony, just the straight cherry shrimp tank. And the last of the couple of shrimp are just going to get dumped in with the platies and go in the 75 since I have cherry shrimp in the 75 as well. Alright, so it's going to be really hard to see because a lot of the debris and stuff went into the shrimp part. And there are a handful of platyfry, but see, like right there, there's a shrimplet. And there's some really, really bright red shrimp in here. I'm actually super impressed with. I don't have very high quality shrimp, but the shrimp that came out of here looked spectacular. I don't even know if I can see any, but there's a lot of shrimp in here. I pulled probably 3 or 4 dozen shrimp out of the tub, which is good because I only put about 8 of them in. So definitely had some shrimp improvement, definitely had some platy improvement, but I do also know there's a handful of platyfry in there, like super tiny platyfry. So I'm just gonna have to watch the shrimp tank and pull them out as I see them starting to grow. So I've got the platies inside and the shrimp inside, and I'm letting them temperature acclimate. My house is currently at about 76 degrees. I kept the AC off this morning just so that the house would be a little on the warm side, and that way these guys can come up. My tanks are all at 78, and so these guys are going to go in the 75 with all the rest of the platies, and then the shrimp are going to go down here in my cherry shrimp tank. And yeah, so time to just let them sit here for a little while. I think I'm going to throw an air stone in this one. The shrimp should be fine, but I think I'm going to throw an air stone in the platy tub. So went ahead and plugged in a little nano USB air pump, if I can find it. There we go. Nano USB air pump from Aquarium Co-op, and threw a Zis Never Clog air stone in there, just a spare one. I didn't bother to mess with it. And yeah, that'll give these guys some oxygen. So they're probably going to spend a couple hours in the bucket just getting used to it before they go into the 75. And then the shrimp, I might let, I don't know what I have the shrimp tank at. I think it's at 78, but it might be a little bit colder. And I think once they get up to temperature, I'm going to let them float for a little bit, and then I'm just going to dump the entire container in and hope for the best. So Like I said, there are a couple of platy fry in this small tub, but there's also, I don't know if you'll be able to see them, there's also a handful of, oh, you can see right back there, a little white speck moving. There's some platinum or pearl galaxy Medaka rice fish fry. I didn't have rice fish in this tank, but I think they rode in as eggs on the guppy grass. So once they get big enough, I'm actually going to scoop them out and put them out in the pond. But yeah, so I'll have to just watch this tank for fry growing up to be decent size. So see, there's another one right down there. So they're still tiny guys, but noticed them a couple weeks ago. Alright, so I just realized that I forgot to end out this video as I'm editing it. And so basically, long story short, it's the nighttime of when I filmed this video. Platies are still doing okay, shrimp are still doing okay, and haven't noticed any deaths or shocks or anything like that so far. Granted, it's only been a handful of hours. But yeah, so like I said, I had to bring the tubs in unexpectedly just because of the smoke is blocking the skies and it's making California cold. It was only like 70 degrees today, and so the pond temps were just getting way too low, and I've been hearing that that's been happening kind of all around the place. And so let me know if you've had to bring in your summer tubs or put a heater out in them or any sort of precautions that you've had to do. I'm curious. Let me know in the comments down below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, you know what to do. If you're new here, be sure to hit the subscribe button and then hit the bell notification so you hit the bell icon so you get notified every time I upload a video. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.